Well, it's an important place to start because it's one of the reasons we wrote the book. We've got a group of people in America, I call them hope stealers, who are saying that it's impossible to win now. It's impossible to win. There's too many systemic problems. There's too many things that are broken in the culture and in the economy that it's the ultimate line, the little man can't get ahead thing. And yet I kept running into millionaires everywhere who were first generation. They started with nothing. They did not inherit their money. And then I started running into them that had followed our baby steps. That's why we named it Baby Steps Millionaires, that became millionaires. And so I thought, I've got all this data and anecdotal evidence, both on one side that it is possible, and then I've got these hope stealers out here telling people they can't do it. I grew up in a household of entrepreneurs, and so they taught us that you can do it. That all you've got to do is leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home. I mean, that you can go out there and make something in this world, and that the free enterprise system is not broken, and it's tough, it's hard, but you can do it. And so I believed that, and I still believe it. And I went and got my real estate license when I turned 18, and when I graduated from college, I started buying and selling real estate, and starting from nothing, I got rich. At least by a kid from Antioch, Tennessee standards. I ended up with about $4 million worth of real estate and a little over a $2 million a little over $1 million net worth. I was making a couple of $100,000 a year. Now that's 1982. 20,000 bucks a month from the neighborhood I grew up in, that's called rich. And so we were having a blast, but I'd borrowed too much money, and the short version of the story is the bank got sold to another bank. They called our notes. We were doing Flip This House before Chip and Joanna were born. And so, the bank called our notes, and we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued and foreclosed on, and with a brand new baby and a marriage hanging on by a thread, we had the opportunity to start over after bankruptcy. And it was brutal. It was brutal. It was gut-wrenching. It was life-defining. And it was, at the time, the worst thing that had ever happened to me at all, the worst trauma. To not be able to keep your word, to have your integrity just crushed by your stupidity. And I come from an honor culture, and it's just, it's a horrible thing. And so obviously now 30 years later, I realize it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I learned a whole new way of looking at money. I realized that borrowing money was a bad plan, and we've since been able to put lots of data to that and millions of lives to that idea, that the idea of if you don't have any payments, you've got money, and you can build some wealth. And so we began a debt-free life at 28 years old, and I'm 62, so it's worked out pretty well. The line that we always use, and it's true, is I haven't borrowed money in 30 years, so I don't have a credit score. Mine's undeterminable, or zero. And so the joke is, and it's the truth, if I go down to a local apartment complex and there's a sweet little 26-year-old apartment manager that is corporate has told her what to do, and they require a FICO score to rent, I can't rent an apartment there. Now, I'm a multi-millionaire. I can write a check and buy the complex, but I can't rent an apartment there. Now, that's just asinine. That's just ridiculous. And so that illustrates the absurdity of this. As far as the crazy stuff on the show, oh my goodness. I mean, we do 3 hours a day for 30 years now. I mean, we've had crazy on parade at times. And the thing I have to try to do is laugh, because I've done so many stupid things. I've got a PhD in DUMB, so when somebody calls with something stupid, we just laugh together. I mean, I'm not shaming them, but oh my gosh. I mean, people with I had a guy with $1 million in credit card debt one time. How do you do that? I mean, that was like a full-time job. And we've had lots of people with hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. And they just get themselves in all kinds of stuff. And so, you get stupid on steroids, and it just explodes. It gets exponential. And it's really, it's crazy humorous because it's so absurd. But, also while you're talking to them, it's just sad because they're completely trapped. And how am I going to get this young dentist that's in one of our documentaries that's got $1 million in student loan debt? And how am I going to help him get out of that? Oh, it's just heartbreaking.
I used to be an avid golfer. I bought a big estate in Scotland next to St. Andrews, where golf began. And I used to play golf 36 holes a day. I played 72 holes of golf because the sun comes up about 3, because we're so far north, and the sun goes down about 11:30, 12. And I did that for about 9-10 months, and I got golfed out. You know, you can only play so much golf. And my good friend, the guy I mentioned before, Charles Grubbs, and I sat in a room, and he says, let's reverse engineer how you made all this money. He's an engineer, MBA. And so we spent 4 or 5 days in a conference room, and how did I do it? And so we put it together, and at that time I thought it was about an 18-hour program. I could show kids how to do it in 18 hours. And we gave the first seminar on May 23rd, 1993. I gave it, there was about 65 or 68 people that paid $1,000 a head for 1 day. The seminar wound up lasting 23 hours with Q&A. 60 grand, I cleared probably 55 grand for 1 day for doing something I could do while I was asleep. Sounded like fun. So we have updated the seminar over 26 years to now, the kids said, well, I'm not Pena. I don't have Pena's communication skills. I'm not a big guy like Pena. Blah, blah, blah. And so, but now we had to create, in my mind, to make the model viable, proof of concept, I had to get meatheads to make millions. I had to get meatheads to make tens of millions. I had to get meatheads to make billions. And we did. But it took me a lot longer. The first 8 or 10 or 12 years, I struggled, not because I was broke, but I struggled giving away, not giving away, but giving the other person that was on the other side of the audience the confidence to do what I did. And so we've developed the processes, procedures, and systems over the years. And now I have tens of thousands of kids that have done this. I'm the only guy out there that has created millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions, tens of billions, and hundreds of billions for other people.
Okay.
We have teenage multimillionaires flying around in jet planes. They came to me with a 15-speed bicycle, their only asset. The largest deal in recorded history, the $500 billion NEOM, the future of the city with Saudi Arabia, my mentee Klaus Kleinfeld's deal. So we've done it from A to Z now. And now, about 10 years ago, I used to sell product like everybody else. Everybody said, you got to sell product, Dan. You got to write a book. And I said, well, I'd never write a book again. But so I said, well, 10 years ago, we're going to give the product. So we went from the most expensive product on the market to zero. All my products free. We don't sell anything, okay? And the only thing I do is I still do the seminars at the castle. We're booked up a year in advance. 4 years ago, I decided I'm going to do 2/3 pro bono charity work, 1/3 so money grubber, okay? So 2/3 of my time is devoted to speaking at universities. I'm speaking at the University of Pennsylvania in a few days, Wharton School, where President Trump went. My wife and I support a lot of charitable foundations, mostly Catholic, but missions in Sri Lanka, South America, India, the Philippines, Bangladesh, and that's what I do 2/3 of my time.